All right, all right. Is this thing turned on or is that just me? Huh. The whole room goes silent. That's a probably, I don't know. I would have to guess. That's probably a thing that someone has said when they go to grab a mic. I don't know what, you know how terrible that'd be? You go to an elementary school and the principal is like the host of the elementary school talent show. And the teacher gets up there, hoping to relate with the students, and it's like, "All right, is this thing turned on, or is that just me?" And everyone, all the parents, like, "Oh my God, we are switching schools right now." But it turns out it's like a private school, and they had to like apply to get in there. And it's like, how do you even apply to get into an elementary school? What credentials does a kid have at that point? Is dope at four corners? Plays a mean wall ball, absolute slugger on the kickball field, which is just a baseball field. But then, depending on what sport you play, it just changes its name completely. Isn't that incredible? Like a table is a table until you play beer die on it. Then it's a beer die table. Same way, a baseball field is a baseball field until you play softball. Then it's a softball field. Actually, don't quote me on that. I don't know the regulations, so there could be different distances. I don't actually know that. But I know when you play kickball, you just use a baseball field that you have available. Now, I don't know what regulation kickball fields are like because I don't really know much about that game. But, when you just play in PE or just for fun, like that's just a baseball field. And, what, a kid's good at kicking a kickball and then that elementary school's like, okay, yeah, let him on in, No, I feel like if you apply for an elementary school, they always do it in TV shows and stuff, right? They always show the parents trying to be on their best behavior, like really suck up to the principal, the dean, whoever's in charge of that elementary school. There's so little a kid can do to impress. Honestly, the kid's whole job when you're applying to an elementary school is just don't mess up. Just don't be weird. You get into the elementary school, when they're doing interviews with the parents, and they're like, okay, little one, we're gonna interview. Don't do anything weird. And then, the kid starts like sucking on Legos or something, or like growling at other kids as they go by. He screwed the pooch. But for the most part, the kid's well behaved because they're real young. So they're just like, they're all the same at that point, they don't have a personality quite yet. Some parents like to be like, oh, my son's artistic right now. It's like, oh, why? And it's like, well, he picked up a crayon. And you're like, don't set the bar so low, okay? This is why people suck at limbo. Because you set the bar so low, then they hit it, they get out, and they never want to play limbo again because it's a stupid game. But they set the bar so low, they're like, oh, my son, I was playing this song on the radio, and my son like bobbed his head twice. So we got a little Beethoven on our hands. I know. It's like, wasn't Beethoven deaf? Is that what you mean? And they're like, what? No, he's our little John Mayer. he's our little Post Malone. Yep. That's our little DJ Khaled right there. Oh, look at him. Oh, look, he pointed at that billboard that has a guitar on it. Well, looks like we got a little Bob Marley on our hands. No, shut up. That's not. Your kid is just reacting to the world. Their brain isn't even fully turned on yet. It's alive, but not much more than that. It's just fulfilling the basic requirements of being a life, but it's really not. It's nothing. It's all kids when they're young, they're all the same exact thing. Like, that's why babies get mixed up, at the hospitals. Because you can mix them up. Like, you would never mix up someone in like fourth grade with another fourth grader, right? Because they're like fully an individual. They have a physical uniqueness about them. They have a personality to go along with it. Babies, newborn babies, you're all the same. You're all the same. I'm just roasting I'm roasting newborns. Yeah, newborns, you ain't shit. You hear me? Okay? Step to me again, homie. See what happens. But no, newborns are, vapid little personality-less shits. That's all they are. And I don't feel bad for saying that because that's what they do. They shit themselves and they're a ball of shit that you have to change, right? And then there's crying. But everyone cries when they shit, so I don't put that past them. Oh, do you not? Right, yeah, no. No one cries every time they shit. That's not something I related to. I was that was a joke. Anyways, you can mix up a baby. That's why it happens. Because there's nothing, just kind of like little drooly lives. And you expect that kid to like put on a performance to get into some elementary school? That's why you see those kids, they like force on a piano to the kid. They're like, here, do this shit for a while. And the kid's like, da, da, da. They like start hitting that shit. It's like, no, that's precision, buddy, precision. And it's like, he doesn't have motor skills yet. Don't. Precision is 2 syllables too long a word for them to understand. Let's keep it just real simple, okay? Just go tap, tap. Just have them do that shit, Maybe get a jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Just get him that, and then I'm sure the elementary school will love him. And then, once the kid has learned jingle bells, from there, it's really just up to the parents not to mess up. Because as long as the parents aren't weird, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, the kid's going to get in, right? You slip a 20 under the paperwork and you show that your kid doesn't gnaw on Legos, you're good, A little cash incentive and a lack of a choking hazard, guaranteed no choking issues. You're golden, pony boy. You're good. But it'd be fine. You at a private elementary school talent show, it's just principal getting up there. Oh man, am I turned on? What? I know these kids don't really have personalities and they don't really understand words really yet. But that was crossing the line, Dean. Okay? That is where I put my foot down, Dean. When your personal life starts infiltrating my child's private elementary school experience, that is when I'm going to have to step in. That's when I'm going to have to intervene, okay? But it's a private elementary school, so they don't want to go through the hassle of applying to some other private elementary school, so they just kind of ignore it. The wife's like, honey, did the dean just say they're turned on? And the husband's like, no, just whatever, Who's not turned on? And she's like, we are an elementary school talent show. He's like, yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean, so yeah. And then they're like, let's just act like we didn't hear that shit just so we don't have to like reapply and then like wear their nice clothes and then have our kid, train him not to chew on Legos. We went through 3 spray bottles trying to teach him. I do not want to teach him again. So yeah. You guys never answer me anyways. Is this thing on or is this turned on or is that just me? Oh. It's this? Okay, good. That's good. Because that's actually what I need for this podcast. So thank you. I want to talk about something I talked about last week. I would like to go back to it because I said, I don't remember really what I was talking about like I ever do. But last week I had made a comment. I don't remember the context, but I made a comment about, I'm not the weirdo, you are. And I said, I'll come back to that. And you're probably like, yeah, Greg, we never came back to it. Well, I never said when I was going to come back to it. So, I'm coming back to it now. Is that what I thought when I said it earlier? Yeah. Yeah. No, this is all going as planned. I'm back to it now. Well, the thing I wanted to talk about, the whole, I'm not the weirdo, you are. I had an experience with this last week. This very situation. See, I was at the grocery store, which I talked about when I saw the whole banana fiasco play out in front of me. And I ran into a guy I know. And we started talking a little more. And the topic of grocery store selection came up. And around here, there's like, I think there's like a Rite Aid, and then there's a Trader Joe's, and then a Safeway. Those are like in North Davis. Those are the three grocery stores, I think, that are, name brand grocery stores. I don't know. They're like the big names. And I was at, what was this, Safeway when I met this guy. And he asked me, because I do like Trader Joe's, and we talked about this. I was like, oh, Trader Joe's is great. So he used that to ask me, oh, well, why don't you shop there then? And I was like, yeah, why don't I? But then it hit me, I had cookies and cinnamon rolls in my shopping cart. What do you call it when you hold it? Oh, it's still a cart. It's just, nope. Because a cart, I think, is on wheels. When you're buying stuff online, the little icon of a cart, it's the one with wheels. What do you get? Oh, shopping basket. There we go. I had my shopping basket. I had chocolate chip cookies and cinnamon rolls in it. There was other stuff too, okay? Milk to enjoy those treats with. Yeah, okay, fine. Also bananas with no marks on them. But I had, these treats in here. And I told him, well, I like Trader Joe's. Like, all their stuff is really good. Like, I always get their cookies when I go there. They have these vegan chocolate chip peanut butter cookies. Oh, the best. But they're not just all terrible. This is my point. When you go to Safeway, any sweets or treats you get is just bad for you. And that's what I told him. I said, when I'm here and I get cookies, I just want to go all the way. Like, I am already committing to a bad decision. Let's just make the worst decision. So I get cookies from here because I've already committed to cookies. Let's just eat the worst cookies. And I don't mean the worst tasting. I mean, they're amazing, but they're, probably the worst for you. But if I'm going to eat cookies, sure, make them the worst for me. I don't care. I'm eating cookies. If I cared about my health, I wouldn't be eating these goddamn things. But I am. So let's go bad. Let's go bad with this shit. And by bad, I mean the worst. And so I go there. You really commit. You got to commit to your role, okay? When you eat vegan cookies, even though they're tasty, you're kind of half-assing your role, I want to see some commitment. And if these are my expectations I put forward, I better goddamn follow them myself, So I got to lead by example and get these super unhealthy snacks from Safeway. And to me, this is a very sound argument. It's a very sound explanation. It makes logical sense. But when I told him this idea of if you're going to do something, like eat cookies, do it in the worst way, Or do it in the best way, which is the worst for you. And I told him this, and he hit me with one of those, lingering, okay. Where it's, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm totally not on board with you right now. I was like, does that make sense? And he was like, not really. I was like, what? He's like, I guess I kind of get it. And I was like, what's so hard to understand, These cookies are not good for you. They're objectively bad for your health. And that's why I want them. He's like, see, now I'm more confused. I was like, no, what do you mean? That makes complete sense. I was like, eating cookies is bad. It's bad for your health. So if we're going to do it, let's go all the way. And he had that look, and that tone in his voice where it was like, I don't really follow, and I don't really think this could ever make sense to anyone. And that's when in my head, I was like, I'm not the crazy one, you are, okay? This makes complete sense. And that's where I relate to that idea of, I'm not crazy, okay? You're the crazy one. I'm making complete sense right now. And so that is my story that I wanted to come back to. And I did. I said later. I never said when later, So there you go. That is what I was going to talk about. And that's what I wanted to say. That if I'm going to eat dessert, I'm going to eat dessert. Okay? I always feel weird when people are like, they get like French toast. And they're like, you want powdered sugar? It's like, oh, no. It's like, what? No, you're already... That's like driving, 98% of the way there. And then being like, we shouldn't really, To avoid all damage done, let's just turn back now. It's like, no, just do it. Just finish the trip, okay? What's that 2% going to do, really? You're at the point of diminishing returns. It really, honestly, doesn't matter, okay? So just do it. I understand the law, the whole diminishing returns things doesn't apply to a human. You can definitely, hit a wall. But things don't just suddenly not have an effect at some point. They all have an effect. But I'm just saying ignore the effect. YOLO, baby. So yes, let's get to the list and see what we got this week. I do like this. I think I understand now what I do. I give you a little anecdote from real life, a little bit of talk of real life, and then we go to the notes. And I feel comfortable, I reveal just enough of what I want to reveal about my real life, and then we go to my thoughts, which is great. Earlier this week, actually, speaking of real life, let's keep talking about real life. Earlier this week, which feels so long ago, but on Wednesday, I went on campus because I had a meeting, and this meeting was in the morning. It was at 9 a.m. And I drove to school, and I realized something doing that trip. Even when I left my front door, the minute I stepped out of my front door, I was like, oh my God, this is not something I do. I work. I work full time, and my work is entirely remote. So this is my office. Welcome to my office. This is where I do work. And if I ever leave my apartment, it is only after the workday has ended, 5 p.m. There was one day I went and got lunch and then brought it back here, but that was a rare day. So most days, I'm not going to leave this place until after 5 p.m. And when you leave after 5 p.m., that's when the day is ending. Sometimes I'll be out after 5 p.m. to the point where, you see the sun set. But being out, at like 8:50, 8:45, whenever it was, I don't quite remember. But, going out before 9, just leaving my apartment and going out into the morning air, even though it's pretty smoky, it felt weird because it's not what I do. This is what I felt like, as I got in my car and I was driving on the street. It was pretty busy. Like it's pretty, there's a lot of activity in the morning, and I felt like an intruder to the world. Like it literally was, I thought, oh my God, someone's gonna find me out. The jig's up. They're going to be like, what is this guy doing? He's not supposed to be out here. It was that. I felt like I wasn't supposed to be outside because I never am. For the past, what is it? I guess 4-ish months. Not that. I mean, maybe like 3-4 months. I haven't gone outside in the morning. And so it felt like I was this, stranger, this intruder to the world. There's a word for that. Intruder. There's a more sophisticated word. I need to get better with my flashcards, but it's gonna annoy me, and I'm not gonna look it up. This is one of those times I'm gonna let it go. But yeah, I felt like a intruder. I wish I knew the word. I felt like an intruder, and I felt like someone was gonna be like, as I was walking to where I needed to go from my car, I thought someone was gonna be like, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing out here? Oh God, he knows. I know. I'm not supposed to be out here. He's like, yeah, you're never out here. This is our place. You go back to that little hole you cower in, and you do your little afternoon, evening walk like the small man you are. This is our world. Get out of here. I was like, I fully expected that to happen. It felt like I was a stranger to the world. Every step I took, I was like, oh my God. No one knows how special this is. I started like yelling at people. I'm not usually doing this. And they're like, okay, honey, come on, let's go. Don't look at that strange man. I was like, no, your child doesn't realize how special this is right now. This is a rarity. Anyways, I know how strong mace is now. Unrelated. Yep. I know how much pepper spray hurts. Anyways, yeah, I felt that. And then the meeting ended and I went outside and just like morning air, the sun wasn't fully risen. Someone talking about Jesus. My sun has not fully risen yet. Why do I keep making Jesus references? But I went out after the meeting and the sun was fully, it was rising. It was like really, it wasn't totally up there, but it was like on its way, It showed promise. It was on the come up. And it felt good. It was like just enough like coolness, that like dewy feel in the air. Stewy. There was like this dewy feel in the air with like a little bit of sun like peeking through the leaves. And I was like, oh, what? This is great. It was like I was experiencing like DLC in real life. I'm like, oh my God, new map. Oh, wow, what is that? The same bush, but with sunlight on it? Oh, this is so fun. It's like in a video game when they have a nighttime map and then part of their DLC, they get a little lazy. So they're like, it's the same map during the day. That's what I felt like. I was like, oh my God, it's the same thing, but at day? Oh my goodness. This is like a whole new thing. I'm so glad I paid $20 for this. And I don't know if it was more cool or more sad that I felt this way. Because I was like, wow, this is so cool. I'm out here, huh? I'm really doing this. But then I was like, oh my God, wait, why is this so special? It's because you lock yourself in that room. Oh no. You need to get out more, bud. But yeah, I will, because school's coming back in person. I don't know. This whole school coming back in person thing. They send emails to students, and one of the emails you get is it's like these constant report findings. So like anytime, I don't really know how it works, but there can be a report of COVID on campus. And so anytime there's a reporting, it gets logged, and then they'll email out the updated list of these logs. And I checked the email just a couple days ago. And I think in about 2 weeks' time, in the past 2 weeks, there's been 17 reports. And I'm like, how is that? How is that possible? There's really no one on campus. I mean, some people are doing summer classes, and I don't know how much they're going in. And I know some people in certain clubs and they're meeting. But I was like, it's quite barren. Like if you're going to go out, you're going to see it tops like 20 people. And they're not students. They're just like locals going on a walk. It's really not that much activity. And I'm like, in 2 weeks to have 17 cases when there's like virtually, interesting choice of words, when there's virtually no one on campus, 17 cases or 17 reportings. How do you expect things to be when we're all back, in 3 to 4 weeks here? I don't know. I was talking to someone from Oregon earlier this week. He was showing me the cases. Like they really had that big bump, it looks like a camel, right? In November and December, two-humper. And then he showed me, today, Oregon's got record-setting numbers. They're the highest I've ever been. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of people, I don't know why. I think it's because we all relate to it, right? I've had a lot of people in the past week ask me, hey, how do you feel about going back? And I'm like, I don't, here, I'll tell you what I actually tell them. I tell them, I don't know. It's interesting. I just have no expectations. And that's true because this is something that we've never gone through, telling everyone to go home for 18 months and then suddenly bringing them all back where there's like pretty much 2 full classes that have never done college. That's never been a thing before, right? I mean, the last pandemic was 1920s? I don't know how they handled things then, but I think the world is pretty different from then, So this is like brand new territory. I don't know what to expect. I don't know. And so I just don't want to have any expectations. I just want to be like, whatever happens, happens. You feel me? And we'll see. We'll see. Am I optimistic? I don't know. I have no expectations. I just told you that, man. But yeah. One thing I was thinking about, though, I was going on a walk. And I was going down this path, and these 2 squirrels were off to the right, in the grass. And there was a tree up there. And I didn't really think much of it, because you see squirrels all the time. But these squirrels were real small. I was like, oh, little small squirrels. And as I walked in the path past them, they both, hit me with a, whoo, quick maneuver. And they both scurried behind the tree. And then they kind of give me one of these, peek out from the tree like, hmm, hmm, looking at me behind that thing. I was like, that's weird. I've never really seen squirrels do that on campus. And then it clicked. Wait, these squirrels are significantly smaller than most squirrels. And they were scared of me, even though I just walked past them. Oh my God. They're not accustomed to humans. I thought about it, and baby squirrels, these new squirrels, if a squirrel was born in the past 18 months, they don't know what it's like to be surrounded by humans. We've talked about it, students, like everyone knows this phenomenon of like squirrels being so comfortable surrounded by people on college campuses. It's this well-known thing that you can get super close to a squirrel at a college campus and they're like, so what? What do you want room next to me? Sure, I'll scoot over. We can both be here on this bench. But that's because they're around people all the time. They're like, okay, this is the norm. But if a squirrel was brought into this world when there's no one around, that's the world they live in. They live in a world where no humans are around. And so it's interesting that, what are they going to think in a month here when we all come back and be like, no way. Is this a coup? What the fuck are these people doing in my home? Like, I feel bad for baby squirrels. They don't get it. That this isn't normal what's happening right now. But that's what they think is normal because that's the only life they've known. And I felt bad as I saw these two squirrels, peer at me from behind this tree. I was like, oh no. You think this is weird. This is normal. And I'm sure, they'll catch on quick enough. But, the elder squirrels, they get it. Like there was this one squirrel, I walked right next to him. I was probably like a foot away, and he just kept gnawing away at that acorn. Just cracking down on that thing. And he was like, you be on your way. I'm just going to eat this nut. I was fully behind him. His back was fully to me. And I was like 2 feet away at that point. And he did not turn around. Just kept, doing some crazy teeth work on that nut. He was really getting after that nut. You know what I'm saying? all these people on college campuses, always trying to get after that nut. In more ways than one. But yeah, these baby squirrels, I feel bad. I truly feel bad. They don't get it. These are the good days, but the worst days for humans. It's about to change. It's about to change. Or maybe, we're going to get sent home again. I don't know. I don't know. You don't want to say it, right? You never want to say like the bad thing, but I'm like, how are we not going to get screwed in September, October? I'm sorry. Like no one said it. Like everyone always hints at it. They're like, yeah, we'll see what happens. Why is no one saying, hey, we're probably going to get fucked pretty hard, right? Like just putting us all back. I know we're vaccinated and like we're going to wear masks and there'll probably be some capacity limits enforced. Like I know one of my classes, I think they're looking for a bigger classroom to do it in. But I'm like, we're still all going to be around. How are we not going to get fucked? Like statistically speaking, how are we not going to get fucked? And also like students are coming from all over the place. We got a lot of diverse incomes of breath and water droplets coming out of the mouth, Davis has been pretty safe because we're like, doing all the right things. And like, there's a few of us and we're all in Davis, but we're all going to be like, I got a friend who's coming in from Arkansas, I mean, he's vaccinated. He doesn't have it. He's tested negative, but like, what if on the way to the airport, some guy comes up to their car and he's like, can I wash your windows? And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And he presses the wrong button and lowers his window and the guy actually spits on him. And that guy had COVID. And then he comes here to Davis and then he's, greets someone and just naturally breath. And then they get COVID. And it's You ever play Plague Inc., that game? You ever play this? Boom. I'm basically saying that's going to happen, I'm sorry. You should be optimistic, right? Nope, that's not anywhere in my nature. No, okay, here's the thing. I'm optimistic. I don't know what I am. No, who cares? I'm pragmatic. How about that? Can we say that? I don't know. Let's go back to the notes. It's getting too real again. Okay, here's something. I picked up this chapstick. I have chapstick here. And I don't know why. Earlier this week, I picked it up. So I picked it up. And then to read it, I tilted it to the side and then I tilted my head to the side. So here's what it looks like in one fluid motion. I went like this. And I don't know why I did that. Like, why did I tilt this and my head? Don't you just have to do one? Like, couldn't I have just gone like this? But for some reason, it felt natural to go like this. You know, have this and then tilt both a little bit. And I don't know why that is. And I thought that was so interesting because while I did observe that as weird, it's not a weird thing. It's something that people do. You know, they usually twist both. You ever see that? You know, people observe something. You know, they go for a battery and they're like, what is this? There's a lot of head movement, but it's like that's what your hand is for. That's what your arm is for. You just move this, you know? But I notice people's heads get into it a lot. They always go, It's like when people play, it's like when people talk too fast. Jeez. I'm really getting worse at talking, I've realized. Or like enunciating, I suppose. It's because I don't talk to real people, you know? But I think it's human nature. Like, you guys ever play Mario Kart? This is a classic example. Anytime you play video games, you always lean with it. You know, Mario Kart, it's all in the fingers, but you still, like, when you take a turn, you always hit them with one of these, you know, a little, even though, like, it's not motion controlled, you know? I mean, unless you have the wheel, the Mario Kart wheel with the Wii remote in it. But if you're just holding it, you know, that's just all there. That's all nunchuck, joystick, and buttons, you know? And I don't think there's an explanation to why humans do this. It's just something I observed, and it's weird that there's these things that we do, and it's totally like I knew that made sense that I did that, but then logically, you know, my pragmatic side coming out, I was like, that doesn't make any sense why I did that. Why did I tilt both? You know, just go like this. Why'd you go? Yeah. A lot of energy, you know? I'm all about energy conservation. And so it pained me to go against my learnings, my ways, you know? My teachings, my absolute dogmatic practices, you know? Anyways. I saw a commercial earlier this week. I've seen it a few times because that's how commercials work. You know, death by a thousand cuts. I'm not going to buy Sour Patch Kids just because I saw a Sour Patch Kids commercial. But if you play enough of them, and if I find myself at a Rite Aid, might walk away with a few Sour Patch Kids. Who knows, you know? You just got to keep shoving them down the throats of my eyes, aka the cornea, and I will eventually cave. I won't, like, you know, drop everything and go to Rite Aid, but it'll find a cozy little spot in my subconscious and nuzzle up, you know. So I saw an ad, seen it a few times, and it's for a Chromebook. You're familiar, you know? The old, I don't know if you guys had them in school, but like when I was in high school, Chromebooks were really coming in. And then it sucks because when I was a senior, they introduced these new, like, real sturdy black Chromebooks. Like, usually we had these real flimsy silver ones, but then they, like, brought in these sturdy black Chromebooks. Like, even the material felt more rugged. And all the silver ones were just getting, like, thrown away because they were just breaking. They felt like manila folders, but silver. And access to the internet, you know? But I don't know if you use Chromebooks. I'm just going to assume you have because I feel like they're really deep-rooted in education nowadays, Chromebooks and Common Core are now the most common things in education that I didn't really grow up with, you know? So both of them don't really make sense to me. I'm just kidding. I do understand Chromebooks because we did use them a lot. I just don't get the new Chromebooks, the ones that are actually good computers, you know? But luckily this ad told me about the new Chromebook, and it's got this thing called the everything button. And I was like, oh my God, is that what it's called? Let me double check. It is, yes, the Chromebook has a everything button. And they keep using this as the ad's like real selling point. Like the ad's only what, 10, 15 seconds? But the whole ad is about showing off the everything button. They're like, Chromebook's new everything button will get you access to everything you need by the touch of, one touch of a button. And on the surface, you're like, wow, one button with such capabilities? Where have we seen technology that only has one button that does everything on the device? I don't know. We've never seen that, But this everything button, when you actually look at it, it's just the Windows button. It's just on the Mac when you pinch your mouse pad. This technology already exists. They just gave it a convenient name of everything button so that it seems like it's doing more than it does. All it does is open a search on your computer. It does that thing, where it shows all the apps that you use and then it opens a search button. And it's like, what do you need? That already exists. That's very prevalent technology, What is it when it's everywhere? Ubiquitous? That's already a ubiquitous feature. And it's not new. It's not original. They just called it something different. But they keep passing it off as this brand new thing. And I'm like, no. Your games will not fool me, Chromebook. I'm very privy to your technology. I used this shit in high school, And I played baritone in high school. That's why it's on my resume. I did that shit for 4 years, 5 years actually, because I did it in middle school too. I'm very accustomed to your ways. I know you didn't used to have it. Now you have it. You're late to the game. You're jumping the shark. But you're trying to spin it. Ooh, you con man. You trickster. You charlatan. You're trying to spin this shit as if it's your brand new idea. No. The everything button, or as I know it, and we all know it, as the Windows button, is already the thing. You slimy motherfucker. So yeah, I noticed that. These stupid ads, Oh, I sound like I'm 1,000 years old. These stupid ads, I felt weird because I know some people are going to see that and be like, wow, no way, an everything button? That's so cool. I'm going to get a Chromebook. But it exists, man. It has existed. It's just they didn't use a simple Windows button. That doesn't really make sense to a person. But everything button, I mean, you're an idiot if you ask what it does. It does everything. It's in the name. It's a button for everything. Hence, everything button. And that's why they're going to get sales, because it's stupid proof. Everyone knows what it does, And that's the thing. It's not better technology. It's just more, consumer-friendly language with good ads. That's all it is. And so it's going to get a few sales, even though it's shitty. The Chromebook and the button, the whole goddamn thing. Throw out the baby with the bathwater, okay? I don't want to see any of it. Stop the ceremony. Throw some holy water in my eyes, because I've seen the devil in the form of repeated marketing. It pains me to see, A lack of innovation and a capitalization on people's stupidity. Oh, you hate to see it. They literally did the thing. They're like, so can I copy your work? And they're like, yeah, just make it look a little different. And they're like, okay, everything button. And they were like, you didn't make it look any different. You're like, you said make it look a little different. And they're like, yeah, you just changed the name on the top. It's still the same thing. And you're like, okay, well, be more specific next time, okay? And Get better lawyers, because that shit was easy breezy to get through. Okay, this is our technology now. The everything button. You know what everything covers? Everything. That means that button's a piece of shit, because pieces of shit are part of everything. Checkmate. Chromebooks. I don't know. Chromebooks are good because Chromebooks are nice and cheap and they're easy to use. So it gets more technology in the world and makes people, I guess, more comfortable with the tech world, which I guess is good. I guess it's fine. I guess there's a reason these big companies do things. Fine. I concede my argument. Everyone fall back, They're okay. They're okay. I just disagree with them fundamentally. No. Let's see, what's the last thing? There was another thing. This is something. Yes, it is. This is more like I like to ask people this, but I've really only asked like ever 2 people this, but I asked it again yesterday, so I was like, oh, this is fun. I wonder what people think about this. But when you go to like a grocery store, you go to a bank, wherever, they need a signature. How do you feel when people, the cashier or the person working, I don't know what you call them at a bank, the teller? How do you feel when the teller tells you, can I get your Hancock? And I'm like, we are in public, sir. What did you just say to me? He's like, no, can I get your Hancock? And I'm like, whatever you call yours, that's fine. Okay, but we're not putting any hands on any cocks. And he's like, whoa, now you're coming on to me. And I'm like, hey, whoa, what's this language we're using? Coming on to who? What now? You can see it gets a little tricky. So I'm like, you should stay away from the whole Hancock thing. It's outdated. It's antiquated humor. And personally, I don't like it. It's no Charlie Chaplin. It doesn't hold up. I've never actually seen anything Charlie Chaplin has made. I've just heard that it has a Rotten Tomato score of 100%. So it's got to, according to the internet, it's got to have held up. Or else why would it deserve a perfect score, huh? I'm losing my mind. I'm stuttering so much today. It's because my brain is completely out of tune with my mouth, They're kind of just doing their own thing, but they have to collaborate. You guys got to sync up, talk this thing through. This project's not just going to get done, okay? You got to be on the same page. But yeah, can I get your Hancock thing? Can I get your John Hancock? I don't like it. And the thing I think I don't, that is really risky to do. Like, no one really asks that. It has to be like an older person that takes a risk of asking, can I get you John Hancock? I don't think a younger person even knows who Jonathan Hancock is, Johnny Hancocks. Johnny Fingerdicks. But more likely, someone of today, more this age's speed, would be someone saying, can I get your autograph? That is something someone would say today. And I hate that even more. I asked my mom, I'm like, how do you feel if someone says, can I get your John Hancock? She's like, it's a little weird, but it's whatever. I said, what if someone says, can I get your autograph? She's like, nope, don't do that. I was like, yeah, right? Like, I don't know why, but I agree. I'm like, yeah, don't do that. It feels weird. It feels weird for in ways I can't describe, It's almost like, when you baby talk, when you talk to babies, you're like, oh, you hit that shot. Look at you, bud. You're a star. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, oh, I know you're never going to be famous. So let me make you feel special for a second. Can I get your autograph? It's like, fuck you. Hey, don't talk to me like that. Okay. Don't. What if I invent the next Hot Pocket? What if I invent the next everything button? Then everyone will know my name. Then I won't need your little handout of asking me if I want to give you my autograph. Hey, how about I don't? You ever think about that? I don't want to give you my autograph, because that means I have to pay for shit. And as you've already established, I'm never going to be a celebrity. So this is kind of making a dent in the wallet. Okay? This is costing me a pretty penny. So no, I don't want to give you my autograph, because that means money leaves my account. So how about we just skip these little formalities and I pop on out of here and don't pay for any of this shit. Because as you've said, I will never be famous. And thus, I will not have cash, money, liquid in my bank account. So this hurts. Fiscally, this hurts. So yeah, I don't like the whole autograph thing. I think it's weird. Just closing statements. I think it's weird. Anyways, thank you so much if you watched this video on the main channel. I don't know. I'm working on stuff. Yes, I've already said too much. Thank you for watching that, and thank you for listening to this podcast. The last one did really well, so I'm thankful, and I thank you. So thank you for listening to that and enjoying it. Thanks. Okay. Wow, I'm still not good at still not good at talking. I'm still not good at ending these either. So I'll just go ahead and end it, and I'll talk at you next week. Okay? Cool. Bye.